All right, so I'm here with Phil now, and we've been here so long, the sun's gone down. Phil, mate, beautiful HQ GTS Monaro. Yeah, tell us a bit about it. How long have you had this one?
Okay, I've had it almost 4 years, but it's got a great story. Third owner. A lot of the work you see on the car, body and paint, was before my time. When I got the car, basically, it was at a 9-inch Tri-Matic and a 308. So the car, by its ID, is a 4-speed 253 car, but I was very lucky to get all that. So in the time I've had it, put the original diff back in, got it rebuilt, true track, true track, got the M21 redone. To put a 253 back in, I sort of kept it at mums, if you know what I mean. So it's still got the same 308, and it's good. On the fly, it was about 400 horses, 410.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's got a solid cam. I've done a lot of, I'll say modifications, demodifications, back to sort of a standard looking car, but it's still got a Holly on it, it's still got thermo fans, but very hard to notice if you don't know you're looking for it.
Yeah.
So the history on the car, it's Sunshine, the person who lived there, if I get this right, was an engineer, Russian engineer, came out in the late 60s. He went to Holden, just bought, wasn't fussed what he was buying. He ordered a grey version of this, but when his car had come in, he seen an XY in Yellow Dolly. And first thing he said was, I don't want my car, I want a Yellow Dolly HQ Coupe, GTS. So this was ordered for him. It's everyone that I come in contact with that's a bit of a Holden nut says, oh, it's the wrong colour, it's this, it's that, but it's actually, that's on the tags, so the numbers are there. But then Holden have made this colour combo for other cars. Look, if you told me that morning I was going to buy it, I'm going to buy a yellow HQ GTS Coupe, I said, oh, you know. He had a caravan, he had 2 kids, went around Australia in it, and then a guy that I bought it off, Joseph, lovely guy, he bought it when he was 18, funny enough, we're the same age. So in 95 he bought this off him for, if I remember correctly, 1,850 bucks. So all the original number plates. The car was at that stage sort of used, and then in Joseph's time, guy by the name of Tomasini, I think it's Frank Tomasini, done all the body work on it. The resto call it is probably back since 2008. He tinkered with it. He's a bit of a guru himself. He loves his numbers, and you know, when I did buy it, he gave me this whole handover email and make sure you use this oil, make sure you don't play with the plugs, they're these particular plugs. I'm like, I'll just have it out on the HQ GTS.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And when I first seen the car and seen him, it was a funny sort of scenario where I was like an 18-year-old at the strippers, if you know what I mean. Just, I can't believe I'm looking at this car. It had Centerlines, it looked crazy cool. But in my travels with cars, I've sort of gone back to like an original taste. It wasn't on the market, it wasn't mentioned, it wasn't listed anywhere. And a friend of mine gave me the lead, I'd called, and I remember coming home, and I was home earlier than the kids and the missus. And as she was coming up to drive, I'm leaving. She's like, where are you going? You've got a ton of chores to do. And I'm on safari. I just left, and I rang. I said, honey, I've got to check something.
Yeah, there's something on. Yeah.
So I got there a little bit earlier. I was in the transition of not smoking then. I bought a pack of cigarettes, nervous, like a little, you know. And I just hear this car come around the corner, and I seen him come up. I'm like, oh my God. And we had a chat. He obviously owned it, I think, for 23 years. He'd done what he wanted to do it. He wanted to go somewhere else. He's a good friend of mine now. He's got a beautiful Valiant, a VF Valiant, a VIP. That's a car you should do an interview next time you're down in Melbourne.
Yeah, sure.
We had a chat, I had a look at the car, and I knew by the time I'd walk from here to the boot, I don't care, I want this car. And he told me the price, and he made it a bit, you know, a bit of a point on the phone, not $1 less. Knowing all that, fell in love with the car. By the time I got around to the passenger side, I've walked out like, I felt like I had my pants around my ankles, like, I want to buy your car.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah.
We didn't even go for a drive in it.
Yep.
He goes, you haven't been for a drive? I said, I don't care, I want the car.
Yeah.
Here, these two guys same age. Like, I want to buy it. He wants to sell it, but we're still at that conversation. He goes, let me go home and talk to my wife. And when I hear that, I go, okay, he needs time. I said, no worries. We went for a drive. You know, I was just all over it.
Smitten, yeah.
I went home, was smitten. I went home. And Rach goes, what are you doing? I told her, I showed her face. She goes, oh, what happened? I said, oh, honey, I don't know. Like, I had anxiety.
Yeah.
It was the worst 4 hours.
Okay.
Because I'm ready to go. I had the amount that he needed.
Yep.
And I'm like, I just want the car. Like, so I think it was about 9:30. Got a message, car's yours. So I got another friend of mine that took me down there, had a look. I goes, oh wow, this is bright, and drove it home. We've been friends with Joseph ever since. I love just chatting with him. We catch up at car meets, and I think in the beginning, not that he was not upset. You can't get upset, but he goes, I like you know, I went back to the standard wheels.
Yep.
Or I went back to the. He said, that transmission cost me a bomb, and it's this and it's that. I go, yeah, I've still got it.
Yep.
So through the course of my time with the car, I've brought it back to as original as possible. I just brought it back to where I thought it should, but it wasn't much. It was like I said, just change the air cleaner, change the master cylinder to a big nut, whatever, put the transmission in, put the original diff in. In given time, I'm going to give this a clean up underneath, basically a freshen up, zinking and whatnot. This car is an awesome car. One of my eldest daughter, she loves it. She called it Tweety Bird.
Well, it certainly suits, yeah.
I can talk for hours and hours about the car.
Yeah,
it's
fair enough.
Given me, I've got a friend of mine another quick story that why I got me into HQs, he's a little bit older than me. I met him when I was 4 years old, an old neighbour. He said, you're going for Hawthorn and you're into Holdens.
Okay.
His dad had a Belmont, brand new back in the day.
Yep.
And being European descent, there was a lot of European picnics, and I remember always having 6 or 7 young kids in the back, bench seat, and you just drove.
Yep.
And my sister, who's now 40, the HQ was her first car home from the hospital. So brand new, in a Holden, home. So I do have other Holdens, and I'm smitten, but to say which one's your favourite, it's like saying which one's your favourite kid. I love this car because it's not rough and ready, but it sounds like a race car.
Yep.
It's just really well put together, and again, time before me, a lot of good people worked on the car, and for what is it, 16-year-old resto, it's
still in great shape. Yeah.
It's got its souvenirs, it's got little chips and this and that, but you know what, that's a trophy for me.
It's driven.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's pop the bonnet and have a look at it.
Sure, no problem. Okay, there she is.
Awesome. So original rocker covers the whole lot.
Yeah, again, I'll point out what I had done. Just basically gone back to the original big nut. Yeah. I did buy the car without power steering. All the wiring and all that, whoever done a great job.
Yeah, it's very tidy in here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's less is more sort of effect, in my opinion. I did have the original air cleaner that I did modify to suit the Holly. It looked great, but when you're trying to squeeze that little bit of lemon induction, I didn't notice anything because I don't really push the car too hard. It's only when a certain friend that we met today gets beside me and get a bit of white line fever. But so I've gone back to the setup that Joseph had. I like what Joseph done with the manifold. He actually got an aftermarket manifold and he machined all the fins off. Okay. So it does represent.
It looks because it looks original, yeah.
And you wouldn't really know. Apart from that, the engine bay was pretty much like this. It's just my little. It was very revvy on the freeway. Yeah. And in Melbourne, say you go to a show in Geelong, and you're sitting there at 100 or 95 k an hour, probably bouncing around 3100. It was
just a bit too high.
My wife wouldn't come close. My daughter, my oldest, she loves it. She's a chip off the old block maybe. But as soon as I went back to the force, I just found the car as an all-round balanced car. Yep. But being an M21, we all know the stories about M21s. Don't race change it, get into gear, then put the foot in it. So that was being modified a little bit to help the power. But I really just enjoy just cruising with the window down. It's a radio delete car. Yep. So technology today, a couple of earplugs, put on a bit of old Led Zeppelin, a bit of Hendrix, and time walk back to that period. Like I'm showing my age here, back when I was a hoon, now an enthusiast, you appreciate just a nice, comfortable drive. Yeah.
Spot on, mate.
Apart from that, there's no standard brakes. I was pretty lucky, like I said, he had done a lot of work to the front end. Before my time, brakes were overhauled, bushes. Apart from the power steering, it drove really well, but there's just no bloody power steering.
Yeah.
So it's still sporting its original headlights, the Lucas headlights. Just a good car.
Yeah.
All right,
well, let's go and have a look inside.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Awesome.
Yeah, so pretty standard in here. I did have a big gauge there that I got rid of.
Yeah, I don't blame you, because we got the GTS dash in there anyway.
Yeah, I reckon it looks pretty cool. And another thing that with these cars, if you do know them and you've had them in the past, the lighting is pretty terrible.
Yeah.
So in this sake, LEDs were fitted, not by me. So driving at night, you know what you're doing. Who knows how many times that clock's been around the block, but it's...
I don't think it matters with the work that's been done on this car to bring it to this stage. I don't think it matters what
exactly.
cars are on it.
No, exactly. And funny thing is, the whole life that this car was a manual, then it became an auto for a good 20-odd years, he never got rid of a foot clutch.
Oh, okay.
So
it was always there.
Yeah, I would always go to car shows, and I'd call it the Hydromatic, because, hold on, you've got a B&M shifter, but you've got a clutch there. So some shows because that wasn't obviously loaded up, I'd push it down and put the carpet on top of it, so it hides it a bit.
Yep.
Because it's always the same story.
Yeah. And these low back bucket seats, I've just had the source set for mine, and boy, I had trouble finding them.
Yeah. A, if you can find them, B, if you're going to give a kidney up to get them.
The houndstooth interior?
Yeah, but I think, again, there was a changeover period where they went to herringbone.
Yep.
So
yeah, they definitely had the two different styles.
Yeah, it's like I don't know if you want to call it Series 1, Series 2, but there was, changes along I think the HQs ran for 4 years.
Yep.
And they made over 400, I think, production, including...
I'm not sure. I know that mine's a 71.
71, so it's an early one.
Yeah, mine's really early.
Yeah, little things that I did learn, the headrests were different. The early, like GTSs, didn't have a headrest. Then they had a 72 had a headrest, and I think there was a transition. This could be a production run in different states, or wider headrests.
Yep.
So, apart from that, it's a shame we couldn't go for a bit of a burl in it, to drive correctly, that is.
Yep.
But it does sound pretty cool.
So, did you have to do anything in here at all? Or?
Okay, no. I do have a lot of photos of the car. The dash was replaced. It's actually a fiberglass dash.
Okay. I've heard mixed reviews about these fiberglass dashes, but this one looks fantastic.
No, I have to admit, it's pretty good. It's a little bit hollow behind, maybe.
Okay.
It doesn't absorb as much as what you... I only can notice this between the two cars when I get out of the SS and jump into this and vice versa.
Okay.
There is little things I've got to fix. I've got them in the glove box. I've got to put the vent controls in, just in between other cars, and this thing runs and just turn the key and you go. You sort of neglect it there. But the roof lining, door trims, sun visors is all original. The seat's got a re-lick, I think, if I'm lying here, when it got painted. So we're talking 2008.
Yep.
Carpet obviously got replaced. Being a delete radio car, everything's still intact. Parcel shaft wise, there's no big, the 90s were a bad period for any car. Everyone wanted to put a sub in.
Oh, yeah, stereos.
And sponsored by Alpine, and wanted to be the loudest on the street. So I'm happy the integrity of the car is still there from that perspective.
Well, I don't think I've seen one with the blank plate still there.
This was, when I did buy the car, someone did fit a radio to it, but there was never an aerial. Nothing's ever been, like the panels underneath when I had a look, they're pretty solid. So I don't know if they had an external antenna just in the car.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think that was the case, but I was very fortunate. There's a guy in Sydney that manufactures, and I didn't know this, like Respairs have their silver version, then I got a black version. This has actually got a green tinge in it.
Okay.
So there's a big debate about it, but this is as accurate as you're going to get to the black with the green tinge style.
Okay.
Because if they did run it, this is the argument now. Some people say, no, they did come out silver, but it was too bright when you were driving.
Yeah.
So there's always, some say yes, some say no. These are I'll call it the FBI of the HQs, right? But this one was, he only made a very limited run, I think up to 10, but he did do a big, again, if you're dealing with free spares and they want you to do this colour, you're going to do that colour. Yeah. Right? Yeah. So I was very fortunate. I did get one for each of my coupes, the two coupes and the SS, and a couple of friends that I did have that the mate of mine has built one, and that came with it, actually.
Okay. So, yeah, nice.
Yeah, apart from that, like the back seat, does have a couple of little cracks. I'm not fussed. Adds character to the car. Seatbelts are genuine.
Look, it's really tidy, so you don't need to worry about the little things like that. But when they're driven, I don't think you have to be.
Yeah, I love it. I won't drive in the rain, not for anything. It's just a pain to clean.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Do I get away from murder with the car scene? And I've met a lot of good friends, a lot of good people. There is a few ding dongs out there, but that's in any aspect of any
that's
hobby.
Just life, mate. Yeah,
it is. But the boys here, I have to thank them. Thank you for letting us, Benzina Stables, having this sort of opportunity to, showcase our interviews today here.
Oh, definitely, mate. Yeah, we've really appreciated that as well, Yeah.
I've managed to meet a lot of good people, older and younger, but with the common sort of edge on, this particular hobby.
Yep. Sweet as, man.
Yeah, apart from that, I can, like I said, talk till the cows come home. And yeah.
All right, well, I reckon we should probably jump out and have a look around the back.
Sure, no problem. It's your typical HQ Coupe quarters and poop, but what I've noticed, like, you look at the Chevelles and you look at, they're the big brother, in my opinion. Maybe the HQ in American sort of hierarchy would be like a Tirana for them in this sense.
Yeah, a little bit smaller.
So, a bit smaller. In the boot, it's nothing special. To say it's been painted, I think it might have been.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely tidy enough.
It is tidy enough.
Yeah.
Floors are great in it. It's still got its original bars, which were chromed. Got all the factory, call it masking. Was it was someone left-handed really painting it nice and just a bit of colour in there?
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah.
It's a Kevin Dennis car, which I think Braybrook. It's still there, but I don't know the dealership just since Holden's gone. So it's always been a Victorian built car, so a Dandenong build, and it's always been in the northwest, northern suburbs.
So it's never made its way out of Melbourne then?
No. Apart from me driving it to Geelong or somewhere.
And around Australia with a caravan strapped to the back of it back in the day?
But it's never been, its ownership's always been in Victoria.
Yeah, nice.
And I should get them restored, but I've got the original number plates for it. I've had people whisper in my ear if you ever want to sell it. It's something that you can't replace. Even if you restore one, even if you bought one restored with an inch of its sort of, identity, this car has got a lot of history.
Yeah.
And all I've done is taken on that history and support that history.
It's good that you know, actually, because a lot of people buy a car and all they know is from the minute they've bought it to then, and to know it's pretty much its life story is pretty cool.
And it's pretty much, it grows on you like a family member quick. So, I don't anything else in the future to do to it apart from enjoy it. I've got it to a spot where I like the original look. Yep. Is it a little bit too low? We call it a Geno spec.
Yeah. But it doesn't. Look, I guess it's each to their own when it comes to that sort of thing. I believe.
I appreciate the bumps. My back doesn't after 3 hours, but I just like I said, the colour's one thing.
But keeping the original GTS wheels on it and having it nice and low as well gives it that nice look too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I did like the Centerline's look, and a lot of people in the beginning, when I did say I'm going to do this to it, like, no, you can't. It had a great presence. I'm like, it did look the part, but I look at this car as if you went into a dealership in '72, this is what you bought. Obviously a little bit higher, but even with the exhaust, I had a good friend of mine. I've used him for 20 years, and he said, "Do you want the old wheelbarrow style exhaust tips?" Because everyone had an exhaust tip on a HQ Coupe that ended
you trip over him,
right? So he's done this bit of a ducktail sort of tips, sort of tuck in, and it helps with the sound to give it that effect, like it pops. It accentuates the cam, so you can hear it quite easily. I've had a couple of coppers, I haven't been pulled up, but I've had a couple of coppers next here, and you're like, oh, your sweating beads are going to pull me up, and they just look and give you the thumbs up. Yeah, that's it. And you try to take off in second without stalling. But that's the other thing I noticed with the manual. Yep. Being the cam that's in it, it doesn't like anything under 1500. Okay. So where I'd cruise, and with the other comparison, the SS, I could cruise around in third and fourth. This has to stay in second under 55 Ks. Okay. As soon as I put in third, look, it doesn't. Dogs down. It sort of. But I love that. That gives me that sort of, I don't know, quirky race feel. But awesome. But it's once you go around the block in it, where everything's at,
Yeah.
and it's easy to drive.
All right, man. Well, look, thanks heaps for coming down and showing us your car, man.
No, I
Like,
appreciate it.
This is
Thanks for
beautiful.
having me.
Yeah, no problems at all. And we're going to catch you again at MotorX, aren't we?
Yes, we'll have another chat about another one tomorrow.
Yeah,
About the VK.
The blue VK.
Yeah, the blue, that's is my favourite. It's just a bit of Australian history, race history there.
So thanks so much.
Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you for giving us an opportunity to show my car, and
Yeah, no worries.
yeah.
All right, well, we'll see you tomorrow at the show.
Thank you. See you guys.
No worries, cheers.
No worries.